All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie The Adventures of Pluto Nash. 2002's The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Lee, had you seen this one before?
That full title, awesome. No, I had not. I've heard legends of Pluto Nash for 20 years-ish, and finally, I have now seen it.
I saw this theatrically, and I was the only person that liked it. In the
Okay,
theater.
I was going to say, you were the only person in the theater. No, you almost didn't like the theater.
The theater had 7 people in it. I knew almost all of them, and no one liked this movie. I thought it was brilliant.
1/7 is actually like an overrepresentation of the population at large who liked it. Because this was like down there with like Gigli and certain other movies that became like legendary flops, legendarily bad.
Oh, yes.
And like, oh, have you seen it? Of course not, but I know it's bad.
This
is
the legendary flop.
Yes.
It cost $100 million to make, and they lost $93 million. And that's like after everything. That's like, okay, that was in the theaters, that was like the domestic, the abroad, that was DVD sales.
That's worldwide all-time gross or something. Dang. Okay. Well, hey, you know, it happens sometimes.
It's not that bad when you hear those numbers and see the movie. It does not correlate at all. This movie is star fucking studded. Like every person in this movie is somebody. Like, this is great.
No, I had the reaction you usually have, where I know all the people in it because I'm a little older, so I see Joey Pants and I'm like, holy crap, this movie's amazing. This has everybody.
It does.
And Randy Quaid, a bunch of other folks, right? Anyway, yeah, this isn't that bad. I was geared up to like, I was like braced for like, this is going to be hilariously bad. And I think it's fine, which is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that even a hot take at this point? Because I think if you watch it now, you're going to be like, it's fine, it's whatever.
Kinda. I honestly would have loved for this to be in a hit and to see what we could have got within this universe.
More Adventures of Pluto Nash.
It didn't really leave off on a thing that would like give a lot for that, but I like the world it's set, and I think that it's totally worth watching.
Absolutely.
So if you've seen this or don't care, falls over spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
Alright guys, so here we are for the spoilers of The Adventures of Pluto Nash. So Lee, let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
Pluto Nash is pretty nice with it. It's alright.
I love the sets.
Yeah.
I love like the world that they've developed, even though like they don't go into a lot of detail. I think that might be a strength.
It has a good feel, and it's light, and it's an adventure, and you know they know that because it's in the freaking name. It's called The Adventure.
The Adventure of Pluto Nash.
You don't call it The Adventure of blah 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 unless you're, because like people maybe are like, it's a comedy, it's not funny, and it's like, sure, it's not Eddie Murphy playing 17 identical characters and doing a dumb voice the whole time.
I kicked your ass.
Sherman, I cooked all this food. Is that all you gonna eat? Hey, what's wrong with you? You supposed to eat that thing, not scalp it.
Right? But it's a movie. Movies used to be movies and also be funny.
Yeah.
Right? Like The Fifth Element's funny, the first X-Men's funny, all from this like general time frame. And it's space. It feels good out there in space. There's 20 actors who I know and love in this movie, and they're all fine.
At least, honestly.
Yeah, it's like everyone's played by some character actor or some comedian where I'm like, I know that guy. So this is not bad at all. Seems just normal.
It's fun. It's a bit dated, which makes sense because it was originally like written in like 1985, and I'm like, well, that would have been a hell of an adventure in 1985. I don't know that you could have gotten Eddie Murphy in 1985, but like
wasn't born yet.
Hey, boy.
No, and like you're hinting at like all the details are like a mess in my head, but this has a like tortured production of like not being released and reshoots and arguing on set or whatever. Right? It's a big mess, which explains part of it.
It's conflicting, honestly, because Eddie Murphy, who says I just did it for a paycheck, is also the same guy that paid for the reshoots.
I caught that
I'm like, you had to at least want it to come out a little bit, because if it was just a paycheck, you don't give a shit. You're done.
No,
like, whatever.
I caught that too, which I'm not sure what that means. Because if everything you read on like the IMDb trivia or the Wikipedia page, is true, they would have you believe Eddie Murphy does not care about this movie at all, but invested his own money to reshoot parts of it and
directed those parts.
Well, because the director was like, screw you, right? It was this whole conflict that they had. So they would have you believe. I think it's sour grapes. I think he, after it was done, was like, nope, it's still bad. I'm just gonna pretend that I was not invested, in this at all, even though he was clearly invested enough to argue with the director and then take over and like reshoot parts of it to add to it later.
But like, it doesn't seem like he's alone and wanting to distance himself. Like Alec Baldwin's like, don't even put my name on it.
He's not.
And I think that's funny. He's not a big part in it, but he is in it, and I thought he was honestly pretty good in it.
Yes, he's fine.
I love it. Oh, I thought the stairs were there.
Oh my God.
Oh, pardon. I forgot the stairs was there.
I forgot the stairs were there. No, he's always a welcome sight. And there's a bunch of things. Pam Grier's in it for a little bit.
Yeah,
There's a bunch
Pam
of
Grier, who
cameos.
plays his mom, who's like, I'm like, I don't think she's at all old enough to be his mom.
It's the future.
You're his mother? Why, you got a problem with that?
I also let that one. I'm like, this is a world where there's augmentations, and they even assume that Eddie Murphy and Rosario Dawson have had augmentations. So I'm like, they think all pretty people have had augmentations.
Are you all original, or have you been previously improved?
All original.
Really?
Yes, from top to bottom.
Okay, all right, maybe she's actually 108. Who's to say?
Exactly. She'll be 400 years old.
Yeah, Jay Moore, like hate him in the beginning of the movie, but I think he's pretty funny toward the end.
Scottish crooning.
And there lies your problem, exactly. What is that Scottish crooning? That's not even a thing. Did you make that up?
Yes, I made that up. It's a thing if I made it up.
Yeah, once he's Tony Francis.
Yeah.
Hey, ooh, hey.
I like that.
When he says, like, he's like, you're a sick pervert. And he's like, you have no idea. He does it just, you're like, this is amazing.
You're a freak. You have no idea.
Wait, oh, you married twins? No, I found the perfect woman. I had her cloned. Which one's the original? Who cares? He's running around. I'm like,
it's
this
pretty
is
great.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah. No, I like
Yes.
I like that whole thing, like what they got going there. I love that this is in Little America, so it's like Little Italy, but it's the moon. It's 2080 when the movie starts. It's 2087 as the movie progresses. I think that's a little weird. I almost wanted him to go to jail again and come back out of jail.
so
and
like,
Tony Francis has been a hit and this and that. It's
this
weird to just have him like, I took over your debts and I did some shit. Hey, it's 7 years.
I think this is the reshoots. Because they mentioned shooting stuff in the beginning and the end for the reshoots. So I'm like, I think somebody was like, I can't just say they were going to pour battery acid down his throat. We need to show that.
What's going on, Gina?
Clean out Anthony's digestive system. He's a little backed up.
Hey, Gino. I can't let you do that, man.
Or something. Some weird, like, it's awkward.
Those aren't
right?
good.
Well, no, because Eddie Murphy looks weird in the very beginning to me. Because I was like, because then there's like a time skip, and I'm like, he looks younger now that it's been 7 years. What's going on? Because I think they went back and shot, and like didn't bother to do as much. I was like, something's off with these scenes.
The thing I thought was off was like he's like seems to be like a germaphobe in those reshoots. Like he has a little wet nabs from KFC in his pocket. He's like ready to go. When he goes into the bathroom though, it's a hideous bathroom. That's directly off the kitchen with like a swinging door. So I'm like, there's no separation of church and state happening there. It's just like poop air right into your food.
Of course.
But he goes in there and he looks and then he takes a deep breath and I'm like, whatever bad air is in there, that is what you're holding in now.
Yeah, I had that same thought where I was like, why doesn't he duck out the door a little bit?
Yeah.
Is it because there's like production things behind the door and he can't open it from that side anymore?
I don't know.
What's going on?
But yeah, all that shit was filthy. They gave him like a dirty ass glass. Like you saw, this is a shit business.
Yeah.
And like, who would give him $2.5 million to make that? And then I'm like, it only cost $2.5 million to make that?
In
I'm
space.
Like, in space, it should be way more.
No, space has its own economy.
Hillary bucks.
Yeah, right? That's something funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hillary's on the money in future space.
And Trump also owns a big section of the moon. He has like his name on one of those billboards as they're in like that interim area.
It's like they knew. 2080, there's still time.
It's just funny that like those are the two figures they chose and that those ones have a fucking election against each other.
It's almost
Very
like all
interesting.
this stuff is extremely obvious in retrospect, and certain people can see it at the time. I don't know. No, like the world of the future of space in this movie, I think is good. Like it's like dirty and shitty and like weird in a way that I like. And it reminds me of The Fifth Element and of one of those funny space Total Recall even. Like there's certain movies where it's like, yeah, the future sucks. And it's like, yes, it sucks now. We're just going to be on the moon. It's nothing's going to stop
I think
sucking.
it's as public schools and stuff. Where I'm like, yeah, this rundown and shitty, we have to keep using them. And like, that's how like space would be eventually. Because like, we don't upkeep our like pipes and waterways and systems. So like, we're not going to upkeep anything. but we don't. And I'm like, those things, we probably wouldn't keep them up either. And it would just, it would be only these things we imported that would be really crude structures and things.
No, and the idea that there would be this like initial huge investment to push and like develop the moon, and then everything would just be shitty. Oh, there's an old mining dome, or there's an old thing, or like, now we're just redoing the same stuff, and like someone has to come in, some space gangster has to show up to buy it all up and convert it, and like that feels very true to like human nature and human life.
What were those giant tunnels they were driving in?
I have no idea.
I was like, what could those even be?
Mining things, I don't know.
I was struggling. I was like, well, it's not like we're not pumping water or air through them because they're just open to the outlet. I'm like, what are these? It's such a large investment because it's like concrete that they would have had. I'm like, I don't even know how does concrete even work if you don't have air?
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Space concrete.
You would have had to like make a bubble dome of air to let it cure, and then remove your
No,
bubble.
I think
and
it's
move it on.
space concrete that does not have to cure that way.
We can't just put space in front of everything. Those are space bullets. That's a space suit. It's a space shuttle.
You're doing a great job.
I know, I am.
It just works.
It does, but I hate it.
Put on your space suit. It's negative 200. That's fine.
Yeah.
What?
Oh man, what John Cleese as that
skin-tight
robot inside the car?
The car bot,
Oh, he's
yeah.
pretty funny.
Good God, I'm being stolen.
I like that, like what that is. That reminds me of things we have now, where they're working on like hologram technology for phones, and like it kind of is that, where it's like a box and it has depth, but only inside the box.
Yes, and you want it to be like Star Wars, where it's like weird chunky lines and it's all tinted one color.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just John Cleese, and I'm like, that's good. That's better, because it wouldn't. Why would it
Yeah.
be weird chunky
No, it
line? It
wouldn't.
would just be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's not just
And,
like a TV. It's
yeah.
this thing. We're like, oh, cool.
And it's like, why does it have to be all that? And it's like, exactly. Why does anything have to be this dumb? Why is it a touch screen? What are you doing? Like today. And
The
it's
car
just
is
carrying
almost
it
like
forward.
a Fifth Element vibe, where it throws back to like the 20s, but in a spaceship kind of way.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that he has this like moon base thing hidden off to the side here from when he was a smuggler.
It's an old prospecting dome. Found it years back. Nobody knows about it, me and Bruno.
His like safe house.
It's also like this super weird thing where I'm like, it has power, it has the internet, it has a phone line. How secret
It's
could
like
it be?
a bat cave. He's like, computer, search this
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
He has a robot there, Babette, that he just leaves there. Her oops programming, that's pretty funny.
Bonjour, vous allez bien? Oops.
Oh man, that's when he Eddie Murphy's out a little bit. Rosario Dawson's looking at him like, what is this? He's like, he's doing his little like weird like.
She's an excellent piece of multifunctional software.
Like shit-eating grin thing, yeah.
I don't know how I've gone this long and not mentioned Randy Quaid.
I've been saving it.
He
I
is
wanted to
my
give it to you.
favorite part of the movie.
Agreed.
He's so good. So in my head, he was already my favorite person from my original watch. This I remember like just going coming boss, like was like my impression of Randy Quaid. And if you were to ask me, are those noises added in post or does he do them with his mouth as he's going? I would have said he does them with his mouth, but he doesn't.
Okay.
They are added in post.
Please meet my friend and bodyguard, Bruno.
Gentlemen.
In my head, he's just like, coming boss. Like, he's just making noises and doing this thing. I love his, like, big fucking RoboCop guns.
Yep.
I love his stupid face, big smile. He has, like contacts that are bluer than blue, so, like, his eyes look really fucking fake and weird.
He took off after Jimmy, who's headed for the back. Be ready for him.
They have him in his little, like, shaved head, robot patches and shit are there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
No, it's dope. I was really pleasantly surprised by him because Randy Quaid's become a performance artist on social media now.
Sex pervert is what
And
you're looking for.
You wanna f me? I'm gonna f you. Evie, put this on.
He also reads tweets, I think. Are they Trump tweets? It's been a while. But he has like a strobe light and he's very close to the camera. And he does like dramatic readings of other people's tweets.
Much more will be lost as it proceeds.
He's doing stuff. He's gone insane. But
He
that's
puts
fine.
Rupert Murdoch pieces of paper duct taped to his wife's face
Yeah.
and has sex with her on camera.
That AKA performance art. Just like not paying your taxes is performance art.
Sure.
And then being on the run and having to live somewhere else. It's like
Shitter's full.
It's like McAfee. Yeah, it's exactly the same deal. You got to see his life by
Gotta
the
get
balls.
yours.
But back here, yeah, he's really he's in this role and he's really doing this as his robot bodyguard and just yes, he has they explain the manic smile.
Yeah, he has a
as
happiness chip.
I gave him an emotion chip or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Which makes it even crazier. There's a scene where they knock over a wall to like get away from some. This movie has action. This is action.
Oh, yeah.
They knock over the wall and then Randy Quaid runs up and starts stomping on it with his.
Yes.
He's in this suit and he's this big giant man. It's very.
He
funny.
reminds me of like Young Frankenstein, which is funny because Young Frankenstein is in this movie.
You gotta have some kind of idea who he is.
Some people think he's a clone.
The dad for Everyone Loves Raymond, also known as Frankenstein. I love like the amount of characters in this, and people die and stuff. Like this feels like it's a kids movie, but it's really not a kids movie.
It's quite easy.
Oh shit.
because like you have like people dying, people out in the like airlock being killed. You have like weird sex jokes where he's like making boobs.
Yeah, like that. Oh, yes. Look at that.
Hey!
And butts bigger and stuff. It's a weird middle ground where like if for a PG-13 movie it's kind of tame, but for a PG movie it would be like very extreme. It's this weird thing where I can see how it flops because I don't know what their demographic was.
Right.
But I think if you would have kicked this to an R, I think this movie would have been fucking spectacular.
I wonder because like I was going to call you out and say, well, it doesn't go to R, but yeah, it's in between PG and PG.
Oh no, you would have had to jump it up dramatically to get that R. But I think that if you would have made like the shots are actually shots and like
because I was going to be
Joey Pants is like ripping people's heads off and
but
shit.
like to be very clear, like there's scenes here where like Randy Quaid just like bonks people's heads together.
Yeah.
But they're
like
in
a kids movie.
But they're in spacesuits, so like that should crack them, and they should go. And, like,
I'm pretty sure there's
horrible
one
death
scene
or
where a
whatever.
guy falls in space and his mask is broken and it doesn't show anything; he's just dead.
Yeah,
and people get shot, but then other people get shot, and it just there's no marks, no blood, no nothing.
Right.
But some people do, and you're like, okay.
It's easier to shoot through them.
And sometimes someone is shot and it's like a mild inconvenience, and sometimes, like at the end, Joey Pants, they're like dragging him away by his foot, like they're dead now. They're gonna go dispose of them or something. Right?
Did you recognize in that scene there's two men get shot, Joey Pants and the other guy? Remember who the other guy is?
His Kelp, his like top henchman, is the weird cross-eyed, maybe albino guy from End of Days.
He's coming for you. He's coming for you, Christine.
Yes.
And we're like, there you go. We found him.
I was like,
we were like, I know that guy from somewhere. It's this.
He honestly is really great in this.
Yeah.
We're like, he has this look where I'm like, yeah, he's from the future. Obviously from the future. It looks from the future.
Which room is Nash in? Lie to me, and I will blow your head off.
The robot eyes.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
That's robot eyes.
You can see more than you can see. It's amazing.
I'll call you back. Stay here.
How are you and Babette doing? Oh, she's a 110, I'm a 220 or whatever it is. Oh, you could get a converter. It doesn't feel the same.
Right?
That's like, oh man.
Just go to the hardware store and get an adapter.
Nah, that just ruins it for me.
It's brilliant, like, you know, but that's the kind of thing you're making like a kid's movie and you want to throw in that condom joke for the adults. And that's how you do that, and that's
I really
funny.
wonder who this was for.
I have no idea,
Yes.
and it seemed like it may have changed hands a bunch of times. So maybe it was originally this, and then it turned to that. I don't know.
Right, because like it's kind of for me honestly, but you could take it farther. Like Fifth Element takes it farther in a lot of ways, right? And like just to have people actually die or something. I don't really need that. It's kind of fine, and like I like its tone and like what it's doing, but you know.
No, but like from a same thing that has like movies with like gunfights and stuff, then has like your jumper cabling Randy Quaid's dick and his ear. Like that's a crude humor
like,
joke that I'm like done a certain way could be for adults, but it also feels like a children's joke.
Yeah, that's very goofy. That's very like
I don't know
kid stuff.
But I liked the gunfight stuff could have been really cool, but again it felt tamed down.
Yeah.
The coolest part of the gun stuff was probably when he runs out of like that club and like takes the gun like a tripod folds out and like it's like holding down suppressive fire so they can't chase him.
All clear, boss!
Come on!
I'm like, that's a cool concept.
No, look, there's way too much of that stuff in there for this to be like, it's for kids, just make anything, right? It has interesting little bits and stuff, so I'm like, yes.
When Bruno pulls the arm on that slot machine and rips it off, and she's like, you sick bastard!
Yeah.
Right here in the lobby. Oh, baby. You sick bastard.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, well, she was coming on very strong, and he is like a virgin,
She's
Bruno.
a rapey lottery machine.
And he's like, no, please, no, and the wig he had on was amazing.
Hey, good looking. How about slipping up to your room and playing with me for a while?
It certainly was. It certainly was. All their outfits that they got from Luis Guzman was pretty fantastic. I love his thing. He has that like a weird Winnebago that's just like Puerto Ricaned out.
I was gonna say, he has a weird ethnic smuggling operation going on, but it's good. Like that's one of this was the part of the movie where I was like, this is like more than just whatever it is. Where it's like they're out there, right? Bruno powers down.
Battery.
And he's holding them, right? And I'm like, what's gonna happen to save him? And then this thing comes around. This like jalopy shows up, and I'm like, what is happening? This is amazing.
The music in the movie is so dated and terrible. Like this is the thing I hate about futuristic movies, when they just play songs that are happening in the decade that the movie comes out, and there's not even like an attempt to like he doesn't run a 90s club or something. So like you just have these songs, and like throughout the whole movie these things, and they play such a high impact on it, because like on the DVD it's like the music video to that song that plays in the credits. Oh, the making of that music video that plays in the credits. Like, what the fuck?
The song at the end I did not recognize, so I was like, it's a space song. It's good. But like, yes, throughout it there's very specific, and you can pretend again, and it's, sometimes Will Smith has to be like, I'm obsessed with the 90s. And
what is that on your feet?
Converse All-Stars, vintage 2004.
Have certain shoes or whatever. But yes, you have to inject something like that to explain.
Like that's a moment, like this thing, or like you have in Doomsday. Like, what is that car? Oh, it's from 2003, like when the movie came out.
Or like
but this one doesn't do that.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy was not frozen in like cryo prison, right? He doesn't.
Not like a Chihuahua, we know.
He shouldn't want this stuff. Oh, it's freeze dried.
I got a friend back in Juarez who knows how to freeze dry these things.
So what a twist, right, with that ending?
So this is where I feel like, and like, it's still okay to me, because I'm like appreciating it as like, you want to see the worst movie ever made? And I'm like, this is kind of fine. But then when you get to the end, like I could feel the virtual theater like groaning. Like, listen, I've cut you so much slack. You're doing all this weird stuff, and like it's goofy, and it's like too light for you and too heavy for you. It's too spicy. It's too hot. It's too hot. It's too cold. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But I've stuck with you for so long, and you're finally revealing who is Rex Crater. Who is this? What's going on? Right. And yes, you set up cloning, and yes, you set up the future and whatever. All this crap. But now it's two Eddie Murphys. And
I'm Rex Crater. This is Pluto Nash. Huh?
It's like, shoot him! No, shoot him! And it's like, oh no,
even
what
that
are we
setup
doing?
is so dumb.
Yes.
It's like, well, he needed somebody who was an inside man on Mars.
No.
They're on the moon.
They're on the moon, but hey.
But like, it felt so dumb. And then I was like, he makes fun of his, he's like, oh, you're wearing a rented suit? They're wearing the same suit.
What's this, a rented tuxedo? Now, you know you're old enough to own your own tuxedo.
They're wearing they have the same earring, they have the same ring. There are no differentials there.
Well, they can't just show him the patch that says rented or something, right? I thought that's what they were saying.
But the idea that like they're like, they look alike. I'm like, okay, that could be a thing. And maybe the rest of the group comes in after they've already been swapped, and you don't know who's wearing what, and that's a thing. But when you have them set up somehow to be wearing the exact same suit, the same jewelry, accessories, earrings, it's just like, how? Unless you did that on purpose, how? It's a very fucking weird looking outfit.
No, I'm willing to go with them that far, but that's part of the goofiness of the whole thing.
I guess. It's what makes me go, it's a children's movie, and then I go, wait a minute, then what does the rest of this explain?
Right, so like in a children's movie, he does not shoot his robot friend to prove that it's the other
This piece of shit belongs to him!
guy, and then fall like a huge distance to shatter onto the thing. Which again, no blood, but he's obviously broken his entire body.
They didn't play that properly.
I know.
So he flies down, lands on a crap machine, or a crap table, and the guy goes like, craps.
Craps, you lose.
It should have been, someone rolls, he goes, craps, and then then the guy would land. You don't have him land, then 4 beats later go, craps.
Snake eyes.
It's so lame.
I thought you were going to say they played it wrong, because to me, like in my head, because I too am like, listen, I've cut you a lot of slack, and now you're kind of being a certain kind of way with this. Then when like Rex Crater falls down, and like no one knows who Rex Crater is, but everyone's looking for Pluto Nash. I was like, oh my God! Now he becomes Rex Crater, because only the people in that room, and that one guy probably gonna play along, because he's like, listen, I know where my bread is buttered, and that guy is dead now, so whatever. Let's just pretend. But then no, in the next scene, which I think was shot afterwards, the next scene is like he's back at his club, everything's fine, everyone knows who Pluto Nash. I'm like, you didn't fix the problem in like an interesting way at all. This is just dumb.
I think my biggest problem in the movie might be that very last scene with Luis Guzman. He's like, all right, it's like, what if I get ham and cheese with no cheese? How much does that cost? And he's like, oh, you eat free here. He's at a club that he knows is Bruno's club, because that Bruno. It's Bruno's club at the end.
It's kind of Bruno's club, yeah.
But he knows it's Pluto's club, because it's called like Pluto's Club.
Yeah.
But he goes there and has no money, presumably, whatsoever, but has a table of girls. And I'm like, how did he get a table of girls?
What about a ham sandwich without cheese? How much would that be?
Free!
Free?
Yes, Felix Lorenga's money is no good here. You knock yourself out, whatever you want.
Thanks, Pluto.
Got no money and just like this poor shtick.
The sheer animal magnetism.
I guess.
Guzman.
He was younger then.
Yeah.
He had it going on. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna lie. Okay. I retract my problem.
Thank you.
But that fucking
one of those ladies was John Leguizamo in a wig, though.
That would have been awesome.
But that's okay. Yeah.
The
Tu Wong Fu.
Tu Wong Fu, yeah.
We get to the next town. I'm jumping on the first man and I'm riding him all the way to New York City.
I love that they have these like tasers where he's like, and he knocks people out, and then he has like a reverse taser. It's like,
no,
wake up.
the unstun gun.
Yeah.
I know. I wrote that. Literally, I wrote that down, and literally, I was like, just pick one thing you guys can trade in like a lightning round, and that was the thing I picked.
Yeah, I wrote taser, anti-taser.
Yeah, I like unstun gun.
Unstun gun's pretty good.
Just for the alliteration.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But it's because it's a different color. It's very clear. Oh no, the last thing. The last thing has to be the whole. It's bad, but I really liked it when him and Jay Moore, and he's like, no, you just jump and land on the ledge, and then you do a thing and whatever.
Get down to the ledge. Once you're down there, you're gonna wait for like an hour and a half, right? That's when they bring Rex's late supper up to him. When the elevator goes by, right before it passes you, you jump on top. Here.
Gotta wait like an hour and a half. The elevator will come up, and he lays out this whole dumb plan that would happen in a movie like this, where he's hanging and he's waiting. It's like, oh, I didn't get into this. What's going on? And then he just says no. What's plan B? I'm out, and like stops.
What's plan B, Tony?
So when he says, he's like, yeah, I swing over those wires. And all this, he's like, those wires, those live wires? How do you know they're live? There's electricity and shit coming out of them.
You want me to grab hot wires?
How do you know they're hot?
Look at the shit is hot, Tony.
Don't grab that one. Grab the ones that aren't hot. You swing down, right?
Don't aim on that one. Hit the other one.
Hit the other one. Come on.
Yeah, they're very casual banter back and forth. Was fantastic.
It was kind of ad-libby, but like in a movie. So this movie is old. It is not like a modern comedy where it's like they load jokes into a machine gun with the spinning barrel and just shoot them at you until you're just like, okay, fine, it's funny, I guess, right? Where it's like, oh, there's too many jokes. If I laugh, I'll miss one. Well, don't worry, that one's gonna suck because you're only gonna laugh at every 17th joke, but there's 17 jokes per minute, so it's gonna be a comedy extravaganza. This like has the ad-libby vibe, but I think it's just, hey, these two funny dudes, hey, talk through the scene where he has to realize this is too much. And so I'm sure Eddie Murphy just said, what, those live wires? No, come on. And they were just doing it, right? But in a movie where that's generally not what's happening, it feels good. It feels better.
No, they had a good chemistry.
It was
there.
nice.
Yeah. Did you hear it was going to be Halle Berry or who's the other person that?
Dog shit.
I can't remember who the other one was. Halle Berry
more famous leading ladies.
Yeah, Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Oh my god, it's Tony Francis! Oh my...
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only